Hi, my name is Shar. I'm a first year Canadian international student at Deakin, and I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about my journey to medicine and why specifically I chose Deakin. So, I did my undergraduate degree at the University of Calgary in Canada. I did a degree in cellular, molecular, and microbial biology, and a degree in anthropology as well. I'd always kind of known going into it that I wanted to apply to medical school afterwards. After looking into different master's programs and different professional schools, I just decided that that was kind of exactly what I wanted to actually be doing. So I during my undergrad I had joined a student medical response team on campus. And they basically got, anytime anyone got hurt on campus, they would get called to the site to just look after the person, either while we were waiting for EMS to arrive, or if it was something maybe more minor. And through that, I just realized that I really, really liked interacting with people, specifically patients, and that it was just, I don't know, it just really solidified my decision to want to go to medical school. So from there, so we have this exam called the MCAT. That's basically our version of the GAMSAT. I went ahead and booked in an MCAT date, and was ready to write my test for that. I unfortunately, after I wrote the test, I wasn't happy with my score, so I decided to rewrite it and apply with that. And so unfortunately, our undergraduate degrees are structured a little bit different. So we have 4-year bachelor degrees in Canada, as opposed to your guys' 3-year degrees. So in your 4th year is when you're supposed to figure out kind of what the next steps are, and no one stops asking you about it, and it's like very high stakes. And by the time I got there, I realized I just kind of wasn't ready to graduate. I just needed another year, just kind of as a buffer to mentally prepare myself, to build up my CV a little bit, and yeah, just to like kind of have the mental space to move on to like the next chapter of my life, I guess. So I decided to also do an anthropology undergraduate degree. I had previously kind of explored doing a master's in anthropology. I did this field school in Ghana, in primatology, and I just kind of at the end of the day realized that it was maybe not something that I quite saw lining up with where I wanted to go career wise. But it was an awesome experience nonetheless, and I had all these credits from it. So I was like, you know what a beautiful way to finish up my undergrad. Let's just tack another degree on there. So I did that, and I wrote my MCAT again, and got a score that I was happy with. So I decided to apply to medical school with that. I applied to a couple of medical schools in Canada, and ultimately didn't get into them, which was really disappointing at the time. And so I was just trying to figure out kind of what the next steps were for me. I'd also previously done a few research projects in biology, and kind of explore doing a master's in that area, I guess. And at the end of those as well, I just realized that I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I didn't think at the time it would be a good idea to go into graduate school just kind of for the sake of doing it, and doing something that I wasn't 100% into. So I just decided I had to figure out something else to do, even if that meant taking a year off and just like working and thinking about what I really wanted to go do to achieve that goal. So I had actually spoken to someone from a company called AusTrack, who represents lots of different Australian schools internationally, and they basically go school to school and they talk about the different degree programs that are available at different schools, and they just tell you a little bit about they guide you through the application process and things like that. And the more I looked into Australia as an option for medical school, the more I realized it was something that was going to be like more feasible for me. It was really important to me that I would be able to come back and practice in Canada if I wanted to do that, or anywhere else in the world. Like I wanted to be able to take that degree anywhere. So when I realized that would be possible for me, I kind of seriously started looking into that, because it just kind of been in the back of my mind, and I almost forgot about it. And I don't know, one day I just kind of remembered that, oh my gosh, what about that, that person that you spoke with? So it was a beautiful, a beautiful coincidence that I remembered that. But I just, as in February, March, as I was getting ready to finish up my undergrad and graduate, the early admissions round opened up for Deakin and Flinders University's applications. So I decided to go ahead and apply to those. They got back to me pretty quickly, and I got interviews at both schools, and I was ecstatic about it. So then after doing some prep and getting through the interviews, I felt really great about them. I ended up getting offers from both schools. I originally had a plan of applying to a lot more schools in Australia, but it was just very early in the cycle and a lot of them hadn't opened up yet. So when I got, Deakin was the first school I actually interviewed at, and when I got the offer from Deakin, I was honestly floored. It was like a out of body experience. I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you sure? This one, me, really? Okay, all right, what? Crazy. Yeah, I just was in complete disbelief, and it just, like, I think it was also weird for me because our semesters are flipped. Like, we start school in September and we end in June. So, like, getting an offer, like, in the middle of the year was, like, very, very strange for me. But anyways, and yeah, so the more I looked into what schools I would potentially want to go to, where I would want to live in Australia, what the kind of lifestyle was there and that sort of thing, the more I realized that if I was really going to go anywhere in Australia, Deakin was the place that I was going to go. It just kind of checked all of the boxes for me in terms of being somewhere that I like, being a smaller school. And I just got a vibe from my interviewer that it was a place that really, really cared about their medical students. And I just never felt that way in undergrad at all. I feel like a lot of times when you do a science undergrad, you kind of just feel like you're a bit of a number because so many people that are, doing the degree with you have very similar goals of like, oh, I want to do a master's, oh, I want to go to professional school, oh, I want to do dentistry. Like, you just kind of get lost in the sea of people. So I don't know, I just felt like it was a really, really good fit for me. And I actually had a few friends that had gone to Australia and done different programs. And the more I asked them about their own experiences, the more positive, the more overwhelmingly positive feedback I got about it. So yeah, I kind of came to a point where I decided I would, take the leap and go to Australia, because I just, it just seemed like all of the stars had kind of aligned for me. And it was a bit, scary making that decision to move and to kind of uproot myself and like start life in a new place. But I'm very, very glad that I did it. Obviously, with this whole coronavirus business, first year has not gone the way that any of us thought it would. But like, I just have found such a community here at Deakin, and I just feel taken care of. So if you are in the process of applying to medical schools at the moment, or you're thinking of applying, that's one thing I would really, really encourage you to do. Look at different schools, look at what their like entry requirements are, talk to people that go there, talk to medical students if you can. But if you can't do that, just talk to anyone that goes to the school. Do they like their experience there? What's their favorite part about that? About being a student there. Talk to the staff if you can. If you have an interview there, ask as many questions as you can. Yeah, just really make sure that when you apply to a school, it's a really good fit for you. If I had one piece of advice that I was giving to someone, in my shoes applying, that would be it. I would also say, don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask questions, even if you don't know them.